Everybody knows that that's a part of the game. And when you come out here, you know it's war every single day, every single practice, every single game. And so you know that part of going to war like that, that has the potential to happen. But what I want to bring attention to is Jeff Allen and his staff and what an awesome job they've done keeping our team very healthy. I mean, that's part of the developmental process that we talk to recruits about all the time, is just the fact that our players are available when it's time for them to be available. And I just want to say kudos to Jeff Allen and his staff for making our guys available.
What stands out about LSU in your defense?
You know, LSU always has a tough and stingy defense. I think the thing that stands out the most is those guys up front. They got a couple guys that are going to really try to get after the quarterback and cause as much havoc. They do some really cool and exotic things in their blitz packages and so on and so forth. So we just got to do a great job of making sure that we're prepared for that. In the secondary, I think those guys do an awesome job of tracking the ball and finding opportunities to get takeaways because of how they track the ball. So they're really good ball hawks there. And then you got one safety, at least one safety, number 2. I mean, this guy comes downhill and he lays the wood. So there's a bunch of things on that defense that stands out. So obviously we got our work cut out for us in terms of just being able to go out there and execute at a high level. I just want to be clear about it. It's never about them. It's about us.
Do you guys focus on any, or do you work on any kind of wet ball drills in the kind of rain? And then what advice do you give your receivers to kind of, I know you're not making any excuses, but what do you advise them to do to get over that kind of stuff?
You know, it's a slippery slope when you start doing certain things like that, because, you know, now are you mentally handicapping your players because of some of the things you're doing, or are you really helping them? Certainly, we're doing a good job of trying to, mimic the things that we think we're going to see on game day. However, what we're going to be playing in is the same thing that they're going to be playing in. So if they don't have issues, I certainly, well, even if they do have issues, I expect our guys not to have issues when it comes to things like the weather. And I can't remember what you said on the second question, but that was my answer right there. Okay, good. I am so proud of that young man. I just want it to be very clear. His growth as a player has been exponential throughout this season. That's the reason why he's played as much as he has. When you're a bigger guy like he is, you're really working to learn to get in and out of your breaks more efficiently, all right, and be able to move at in a way that is more of a receiver. Obviously, he was recruited here to be a tight end initially, and so I'm super proud of his progress to this point. Really reliable kid, tough, willing to do whatever it is that we ask him to do. At one point I asked him if he wanted to go play a different spot in the receiver room, and his answer was perfect. Coach, I'll do anything to get on this field and help this team. I mean, that's exactly what he said. And so I just want to give a lot of praise to him. I respect that young man because of who he is and how he comes in every day and approaches everything. I just respect him for what he's brought to this football team.
Some of the different injuries you've had at receiver throughout the season, what kind of lessons have been teaching the guys about getting ready for their opportunity?
I mean, I think a lot of people say this, and I'm going to say it just like they do. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready, okay? So that's really been the lesson for them. When your moment comes, you better have prepared in a way that you are at an all-American level of preparation, and that's all I can tell them to do. You never know when your time is coming. You never know. And they're getting plenty of reps. I mean, those young guys are getting a ton of reps throughout practices and so on and so forth, and it's on film, and they're consistently getting feedback every single day. It's placed on the film, so they're able to see it and whenever they want to. And certainly we're coaching it and giving them the opportunity to see that. So, the good thing about it is, when you talk to all these recruits, we played a lot of young guys on this football team, okay? A lot of young players have played on this football team, and they've played at a high level and given us an opportunity to win football games, okay? And that's part of the development. Some people develop by having you sit down and just watch the other guys do it, but here we've done a good job of allowing our players to go out there and actually do it themselves.
Kobe's kind of been a guy that's kind of up and down throughout his career. How close do you feel like to kind of reaching that potential and kind of on a consistent basis to kind of break out?
I think everybody puts a ceiling on people and have this idea of what they can and cannot do. And you're talking about goals. And I know across all platforms, no matter what your job is, we talk a lot about setting these goals. But a lot of times, goals can sometimes set a ceiling on people. And right now, I don't know that there's a ceiling for where Kobe Prentice could be. He just has to continue to develop and continue to push himself to be at the level that he wants to be because he doesn't know where that actually could end up taking him.
I think Kalen DeBoer said that freshmen aren't really freshmen at this point in the season. How much does Ryan still feel like a freshman at this point, or is he just another player at this point?
I think we do a great job of not really separating out the freshmen, sophomore, juniors. I mean, it's funny when we first got here, or when Ryan first got here, and he had one of his first practices, and he went out there and really had a great day. And the veterans here, I mean, as soon as I walked out on the field, they said, "Hey, get the ball to number 2. Hey, this guy." You had your vets saying, hey, that guy, you need to get him the ball. And that's the thing about here at the University of Alabama. These guys, they recognize who is playing at a high level. They expect each person, whoever's in there, to play at a high level. And so they don't care who's doing the work. They just want the work to be done. I don't really care who pays my bills. I just want my bills paid, okay? All right, so that's what our guys want. Hey, they want the ball caught on Saturday. They don't care who catches it.
Last 2 questions.
How's game prep changed this late in the season? There's so much film out there of opponents, but also y'all.
I mean, not a whole lot. I mean, every opponent that you're going against, you're going to reach back into their history and find out the things that they've experienced prior to them being out of place or years before. So we're always going to do that. I mean, I think with the invention of PFF, you have a lot at your disposal to be able to really do a good job of finding the information that you really need to make sure that you're prepared on game day. So, no, it hasn't changed much at all.
Have there been any conversations with Kendrick this week about just kind of how to stay even keel in Death Valley with him returning to LSU or Louisiana at this home state?
Tremendous question. I think that Kendrick Law, because of things that happened earlier in the season, I think he's been in that mind frame for a number of weeks now, just making sure he maintains that even keel disposition throughout practice and walkthroughs, and especially in games. So, I made a comment to him earlier this week about, hey, there's going to be a bunch of your friends and people that you know in the stands. And, I mean, he was very clear, Coach. He said, I really don't know how many of those people will be in the stands. Coach, if you know where I come from, a lot of those folks, they're really expecting me to make it, and they're not necessarily going to be in position to be in these places because right now they just are a little maybe down on their luck or got issues. And obviously he said a little bit different than what I'm saying right now. But certainly, I mean, it just reaches down into knowing these young men as who they are as men, where they come from, what they've gone through, what they've been experiencing, and certainly in this environment, he'll be excited to go out there and just perform. But ultimately, it's just another game. He hasn't uplifted this much at all. Just more or less saying, hey, let's go win the freaking game.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.